Now let's get into our setup and let's talk first about why we are doing this. So why is it so important that we have a correct Google Analytics setup? Let me tell you something about my work. So a web analytics process is really measuring the data, analyzing it, then getting insights for the client and taking action upon that. And if you're familiar with internet marketing techniques like PPC, this is really the basis of it all. You're gathering data, you're analyzing it, and then you're optimizing your campaign towards the outcome that you want to achieve. And as you can see here, data is really the beginning of everything. Everything builds upon data. Now, when I talk to clients, I often hear something isn't right with my tracking, my conversions don't match up, I have 0% bounce rate. And it's really not too much about the analysis or the insights that somebody can't get from the data, but rather about they don't trust their data. And this is a problem really at the measurement level, which originates in the implementation and the configuration of Google Analytics. And that's why we need to solve this problem on an implementation and configuration level. Now, a short crash course on how Google Analytics works. You have a Google Analytics script installed on your page in the source code. When somebody enters your site, this analytics.js, this JavaScript, gets executed and you get data in your Google Analytics view. And you can see the data coming in, for example, in the real-time reporting. The big block that is a little bit unknown in Google Analytics is that there's a processing engine between the data being collected and the data being displayed in your view. And this processing engine is really governed by your configurations, the configurations that you make to this account. And once the data is gathered, it will go through the processing engine and the data will be processed according to your configurations, and then the Google Analytics engine will take that data and display it in those reports. Now, this is also the big advantage of Google Analytics. We have the processing power available in a software that we access through the web on our browser. We don't have to gather the data ourselves, store it on servers, and then build a software that would analyze our raw data. This is all done for us within Google Analytics. Now, the important thing to note here, and that's why also a correct setup is so important, is that data that has been processed is not retroactive. So any configurations that you make can't be changed, and then the data that is already in the system won't reflect those changes in the configuration. So it's very important that you set up the implementation and the configuration correctly, so you'll be able to get clean data into your Google Analytics views. Because as I said, the data is not retroactive. You can't go back and change it later. So the real answer here is we need to have a solid Google Analytics setup, and that's what we are set out to do in this course. We want to get clean and accurate data, which we can then use as a basis for our analysis. So we have a good setup that we can build upon. This is by no means a very customized setup because we cover this in general, but if you do these setups over and over again, you'll see that we have a very workable basis to do some basic analysis upon. And this really gives you, on the client side, but also on your side, if you're optimizing your marketing campaign, a peace of mind, because you know you have this setup right. The data is coming in with these configurations, and you can take a educated decision upon the data that you have available to you. And hopefully then you don't run into these beginner mistakes and don't have to really hire guys like me to fix your analytics, but rather give us real good tasks that challenge our analysis power and give you real insights and real results. Now, with that in mind, let's take a look at the process, at the checklist that we will go through in this course.